Hello, this is Arnold Mangioli for Grateful Ready Open Willing, once again with the legendary Sandy Campbell. And we're going to hear some more stories. So, Sandy, what is, just before we got on air, Sandy was tantalizing me a little bit with the Gwen and CHITA Spaghetti Story. What is that?
Well, first of all, let me say that they were wonderful. They were so good to each other, and they trusted each other. They warmed up together every night before the show. They did the whole bar together, and they were really just lovely friends. So on Chicago, I was on the stage up above. On a There was a drum,
Yes.
and when the band was up there, so I could watch the show. When I wasn't playing, I could look down and watch. So at this moment, Gwen was in the jail, and Cheetah was out. I think she just did that number, as I remember. I can't do it alone. I think that was the scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and Gwen has a plate of spaghetti, which has never been there before. And I see the spaghetti. I go, "Wow, what's up?" And so Cheetah starts dancing, and Gwen starts eating the spaghetti and had it fall out of her mouth. She had spaghetti coming down her chin, and Cheetah just had to keep doing the number. She couldn't respond. They were, it was just such a joyful thing. They played tricks all the time, putting gum in somebody's hands when they took the bow and reached for the bow and, they had gum in their hand. I mean, they were just so delightful, and that was
Fabulous. I'm thinking of it reminds me of in Hello Dolly that little scene where Carol Channing on the side of the stage, or Bette Midler, or whoever you've seen do it, Pearl Bailey we talked about, is eating those little on the side of the stage and completely distracting from everything else.
the actors are devils. They're wonderful, creative devils.
Well, it's
And
also fabulous when you have two stars like that, such grand stars who are such good friends, and it's all in fun. And
you know what else was nice? I did a rehearsal. Walter Painter was the choreographer, and it was for the Tony Awards, and so we had Liza and the two girls.
Liza and two girls.
No, it was Liza and another co-star.
Oh, it wasn't Liza and Cheetah in the rink? No.
The opening. Now it was the opening number for that year's Tony
Oh, I
Awards.
see. Okay,
I know her name so well, but you know me, I forget everything.
you're forgiven.
It'll come back. Uh, and she does like a lot of Stephen Sondheim shows with a
Oh,
lot of hair.
Angela Lansbury, Bernadette Peters.
Bernadette Peters. So it
Okay.
was Cheetah, it was Liza and Bernadette Peters, and they were doing this opening number. And one of them brought a adorable little dog. I for some reason think it was probably
It was Bernadette.
I think Bernadette, but
Yeah, she runs Broadway Barks. So
and we made sure the two girls made sure that the dog had water and stuff. They had that same kind of friendship that Cheetah and Gwen had. They would lean on the piano, and while they were figuring out what they wanted to sing, who's going to sing, and one of them would say, "So you can take the high note here." Okay, then I'll take that. I mean, and then they started talking about what they would wear, what their outfits would be. And what I remember is that Liza said, "Well, she has to wear a long blouse because she likes to wear Elsa Peretti um, a belt, which is low below her waist. It's like around her hips. Do you remember those belts?"
sure, of course, that was very Halston Studio 54 fashions in those days, right?
Right. And so then Bernadette said, I can't remember. I think she needed different things. Her body was a different shape.
Sure.
So I think she emphasized her waist and her boobs. I think
Right.
that's
That makes sense.
and Walter was just, I mean, he just went okay. So and then he would say, "Well, so when you sing this, go here." And they would go, "Oh yeah, well you can go there. That would look good on you. What if I go here?" And it was just they were so there's something that stars have that's so joyful and so creative and fearless and try stuff. And if they didn't like what they did, what they were asking, they would throw it out the window. They were just wonderful, the two of them. It was a joyful experience for me.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, and I imagine, um, well, and I can speak for both of us because we have very similar experiences over the years. Uh, there are so many people like that who, even when they aren't stars yet, they come into the audition room and you see that. They walk into the audition room and they just have this air and this confidence, and nothing is devastating. Everything is, I tried that. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. They
And
just love what they're doing.
the generosity is extraordinary.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
It's so real. It's so real. So I have a note on your Gwen and Cheetah spaghetti story that says, Cheetah, choose a place for dance and stay there.
Say
Is
that again.
that
Say that again.
Cheetah chose a place for dance and stay there in Chicago? Is that, was
We
that part of the story while Gwen was eating the spaghetti, or was that part of how she set up, I simply cannot do it alone?
No, this was another story. We were in the town of Chicago because Chicago hated Chicago, and
Remember
so
that? Yes.
brought everybody, Gwen, Cheetah, and Jerry, into Chicago, the town of Chicago, early. I think about the fifth week of the run, which was like 13 weeks, to get an audience. Nobody was coming, but they would come to see them. So so we were I was rehearsing, playing the rehearsals for them to be put into the show to read with the new. They had never worked with the people who'd been doing the national tour for 6 months, right? So uh, so they were working on the opening number, and Cheetah comes in and is that's her big all that jazz number, and and so she did whatever she did, and whatever her move was, and there was a person there. So she didn't say anything about it. She when they ran that again, which with Bob you run it 1,000 times, you know.
Of
So when
course.
so the next time she did it, and she moved herself to another spot, and somebody else, the same guy was there. Was still, I mean, I think he was so in love with her, he kept butt close to her, and so the after the third time that happened, wherever she tried to get a space to move, he was there. And so she at the third time she was so cute about it too. She said to him, "Look, pick a place where you want to stand. Wherever you like, you can have, but it had to be there every time." Okay, and you just tell me where you'd like to be. And but not in a nasty way, or like I can't say it as charming. Like she was so charming.
Of course.
Oh wow, whatever, anything she wants.
Yeah.
Everybody loved her.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, she really is. She was and is one of the most loved people in this industry. I've never known anyone to have a bad word to say about Cheetah. Not one person ever.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Really
Gloria,
remarkable.
and that's show business. From she was like what 15 when she did her first show.
Yeah,
She was,
right.
I mean, that's her whole life has been show business.
Yeah, and she does it so well. Just such a class act. It's just remarkable.
Example
Uh,
for all of us that you don't have to be some bitch, or troublemaker, which we
Remember that, all you bitches out there. Remember that. We don't need that. Oh, that's just marvelous. So, so just before we got on air, you were telling me this wonderful story about Tom Hulce. Now, Tom Hulce, some people know him now as a big producer because he's been producing Broadway shows and investing for quite a while now. I was reintroduced to him a few years back, and I said, "I saw you in Sleepaway Town at Playwrights Horizons," and he was like, "Whoa," which was a wonderful little show at the small theater at Playwrights Horizons many years ago, and it was a musical. And people didn't know that Tom did musicals because, of course, he's known for his movies, I think, more. But why don't you tell us what you were doing with the Broadway Cares event?
For 3 years, I was the conductor of Broadway Cares, and so I prepared everybody for the with the I brought in the orchestra, and so um, we rehearsed everybody. We had appointed times to meet at Equity, and so it was his turn, and I saw that his name on the list because I had a list, and so he walked in, and I said hi to him. And he said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it! You're the one." And I went, "What?" What? He said, "You were the one." My very first audition ever in New York, and I walk into this audition, and I said, "Okay, if I do this song," and I don't remember what the rest of the story was. Whether he said that I said whatever I said to him, I made him comfortable and relaxed, and told him do what he wants to do in whatever key he wants to
Well,
do it.
apparently you told him what anything you want. You want it higher, you want it lower. How do you want me to play this for you? I'll do anything you want. And he said, really?
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you remember my
I
stories.
do. I love your stories.
Get them. But he was just adorable. I couldn't believe he always wanted to thank me for that very first start on Broadway, which made him relax and enjoy. He wasn't afraid of us anymore.
Yeah, and to feel welcome in the community and to feel welcome on Broadway. And really, I mean, Sandy, that's such a part of your legacy is just that there are so many actors. I mean, I've borne witness to over what is now decades when you've been at the piano and they've walked in the room, they just the ones who know you are just like, oh, thank God, and get right to it. And the ones who haven't seen you before are made to feel so welcome and supported in a way that they really can take risks, try anything, do all the things they've learned in their training to be able to do, and you're totally there underneath them and supporting them. And at this point of this story, when you were doing the Broadway Cares events, that was the year that Tom Hulce was a huge star from Amadeus. He had his film career burst through, and um, you
So
know,
I knew who he was, but I saw him on the list, but I didn't know that he knew me.
yeah. Isn't that wonderful? It's so nice when that happens. And that's just a good reminder for us all that when there's someone or remember or have some gratitude toward for something wonderful they've done for you that you remember, they may not remember that they did it. So it's such a wonderful thing when we just take that extra moment to say thank you. I remember you. I remember what you did for me. It's such a beautiful, not just a thread, but it's really the fabric of this community is so many of us going in and out of situations and auditions and shows and various communities within the community to create a particular project. When we re-encounter one another and are able to say, you were there for me and I really appreciate it, and remind someone what they did, it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing, isn't it? And you get that all the time, girlfriend.
Love it.
Oh, I'm so grateful to have worked with you for so long now. So we're going to bring this segment to an end. Thank you, the legendary Sandy Campbell. This is Arnold Mangioli for Grateful, Ready, Open, Willing, and thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you next time.